Last spring, like a daffodil shoot breaking through winter soil, I recalled with unexpected great affection the seders my family held when I was a boy. Cousins running around Aunt Betty's tiny backyard, Uncle Mac's great-neck basement, apron mothers cooking brisket in steamy kitchens, the hearty cigarette laughter of dads as they shorthanded and shorter-handed the Pesach service. At first, I figured that since I'm not religious and the fond memories occurred around my 72nd birthday, it was probably just another incident of an old man waxing sentimental. Nevertheless, hoping my enthusiasm for the holiday was not a sign of incipient dementia, I figured it was time to learn something beyond my Encyclopedia Britannica knowledge of the Jews' liberation from slavery in Egypt. I knew about the more famous plagues God imposed upon the Egyptian people: frogs, lice, boils, locusts. Though others, water into blood, mixture of wild animals, diseased livestock, hail, darkness, were a revelation to me. However, it wasn't until number 10, the death of every Egyptian firstborn son, that I stopped breathing. The clouds parted, the bush in my brain burst into flames, and I suddenly understood that Passover isn't simply about my forebears' deliverance from persecution, which would be a real cause for celebration and a big-ass party with aunts cooking, uncles laughing, cousins running around, everyone eating brisket and kishki. It is also about frogs, lice, boils, locusts, the slaughter of lambs, and the sacrifice of innocent little boys. Talk about a matzo ball that sinks to the bottom of the tureen with a thud, cracking the bowl, soup pouring out all over the holiday table. Can there be joy in that brand of carnage? No heavenly answer was forthcoming. But I received a second aha moment a few days later while reading the daily disheartening reports in my morning Times: jihad in the Middle East, genocides in Africa, Christian persecution in Russia and China, anti-Semitism in, well, everywhere. Which was when I realized that the Passover story is not at all different than the stories that have emerged from every religion on the face of the earth throughout human history, and that at the heart of all those supposedly sacred narratives is the notion that one tribe's survival is somehow enabled by the suffering or destruction of others, almost all of whom are innocents, which momentarily allowed this Jew to understand why Jesus had to die for our sins. Which was when I heard a rustling from a neighboring bush in my brain, and like Abraham, imagined a ram caught by its horns, and in that moment considered the possibility that the sacrifice of innocent boys was not God's will or plan. Maybe the passage was simply a creation of God's fallible creatures, the human stain on the hallowed universe that makes religion a battlefield instead of a sanctuary, which inadvertently led me to Twitter and God, at the tweet of God, who tweeted, "You're the worst species I ever created." And I made 3,500 different cockroaches, which in turn took me by the hand and led me to Hanukkah and the miracle of the lights, or much closer to home, the absurd Lewis Power Hanukkah, 8 days in one itty-bitty candlelit dinner, and the unmitigated joy of watching my tribe of 7 Julatos, 16 Quadroons, and lo and behold, 9 non-Jews having a big-ass party with aunts and uncles cooking, cousins running around, giggling and breaking things. Everyone mumbling a prayer only I understand, then eating gloppy good food, and finally topping it off with gambling in the form of Hanukkah bingo without boils and cutthroat dreidel, no diseased livestock allowed, and even if there are tears shed, no one has to die.